My name is Mark Pound. I'm here to talk about Scratch and Java comparison with me. So you're probably wondering why I picked these two codes, Scratch and Java. Well, the two projects were chosen by me because they feature different ways of coding that can make it become either easier to do or complicated or even complex. The codes additionally make me feel like I've grown a bit because it's like a big transition from like child coding with like drag and drop, and on the other side, well, that's Scratch, and on the other side you have Java, which is getting me 100% written code, either mathematical or logical based and stuff like that, which both do that. With both of these, can in fact do that, but it's different on a different level of like time consumption and more thinking put into it. So what are these codes? Well, they're different codes. So these are different capable codes of Scratch and Java. On the left you have the Scratch coding, on the right you have the Java coding. And what Scratch coding lets you do is it lets you use drag and drop, so it makes the process easy and even playful at times. And when you're using Java, you got 100% handwritten code that can use if statements, else statements, all that type of stuff. Just what Scratch could do, but except it's written and it's thought of by me and not already written out and formulated, which is Scratch code, and you're kind of getting code that someone's basically already typed for you, and they're just letting you play around with it as you wish. With here, it's all created by myself and all put together by myself. So it's not like I'm kind of using somebody else's work to get to do what I'm trying to do with Java coding. And let's move on. I'll give a little demonstration of the first project. So here's the Scratch coding. This is a game I created called Zombie Hunters. Here's a little few seconds. Right here you can see me using it. Those right there on the top left are the lives I made. You're gonna see I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna like go over and shoot the guy and go on to the next. Same thing's gonna happen. I'm gonna jump, shoot, go on to the next, and kind of the same deal with that. So you kind of get the gist of that. That's the capabilities of a Scratch coding. So let's move on. And here's now a demonstration of the second project. This is an assignment called this assignment is called Crack the Code. It was in assignment 3 and it's made on Java. What it's going to do is it's going to ask me for my name and what I'm going to put my name in, and what it's going to basically do is it's going to ask me a set of questions to see if I'm capable of cracking the code. I'm going to say yes, enter a number, so I'm trying to figure out what number it could be. So it's 3 and it's correct. Enter another number, it's 33 and it's also correct. And the last phase, enter a number, 3 and it's correct. And boom, I've cracked the code, and I'm going to get into explaining what those both did right now. So, well, to talk about what the second project did, the second project showed a coding that created a number guessing game. It was programmed in Java language. It functioned by letting the user introduce himself, of course, and the reason it was able to ask me all those questions and get those type of responses and keep it moving was through the uses of if and else statements that just asked me to put an input in and move through a series of numbers and questions. And the program, and what this kind of solves is, it solves kind of the creativity and mathematical code making that users put in, and it also puts some degree of effort into the answers, because there's more logic put into, well, not more logic, there's more creativity put into those answers. Like if I went back and showed you, you probably can see it, but in the case of some of these, this is put to, I'll just go to it. Each of them are different because it's not going. Each of these are different because with the second one, I had to put in a certain number to do that, and if I had gotten it wrong, for say, there would be else statements that would say, oh, that's the wrong number. It's gonna say like 3 different things, and that's the else. There's the second part to it. But then the reason it was the correct answer 33, and there could have been other numbers I could have put in, was because I had it set to say if the number was less than but not greater than 100, it can then it's correct. Or, and the third one was kind of, it dealt with using saying if the number that's left behind after being divided, the remainder of what's being divided is that number, then boom, you can go on. So it was built kind of like that. So kind of a little bit more creativity. So what makes them similar is that they use conditions with consequences attached to them, like if and else statements. And Java also runs on a scanner to make everything run properly, while Scratch is just drag and drop. So like I said, I'm just borrowing someone's stuff. And with Java, the only thing I'm really given is just a scanner that will scan and make sure everything is right and can run. Because without the scanner, which you see up there, import java.utility scanner, that none of that will be able to run. And so that's kind of the comparison. And what it also does, it also shows my growth, because Java, of course, makes me rely more on my mind to build a code completely from scratch, pun intended, while Scratch gave me all the code I needed to work with without, needing much effort to put in. And so just some reflection time now. So the kind of the most important thing that I've learned here is that that my greatest strength is that I don't get let down by the mistakes I constantly make when my coding fails, which happens a lot. My biggest area of improvement would be mastering my comprehension of the codes I learn. The most challenging moments while coding during all my time doing it is the assignments, is because they require a lot of time and thinking and full understanding of what I'm kind of doing. So a lot of trial and error I ran into, but I made it out just fine by critically thinking and sitting down with myself. And I'm going to be using what I learned in the future to kind of create my own code that's more clever with mathematical attributes in it, because who doesn't love math? And that'll be it. Hope you all enjoyed this slide. This will be Mark Hill Powell signing off with my Scratch and Java comparison.